Shalom, welcome to MTV Jr. to this episode of MTV Jr. There we go. This show is brought to you by Baron Hirsch, the greatest show in America. Now, let me show you what we have for today's show. This is going to be an exciting show, but first let me tell you who I am. My name is Uri Pilachowski, and this is my lovely family. I have a beautiful wife in the red skirt. Her name is Eliza. And I have 6 wonderful kids. I have Moshe, I have Abigail, I have Tamima, I have Gila, I have Naomi, and I have Tova. These are 6 beautiful, beautiful children who are so great. I'm so happy to have them. And that's my family. And let me show you where I live. I live in a place called Mitzpeh Yericho, Israel. If you look on the map, you see the red balloon there. That red balloon is right outside of Yerushalayim. I don't live in Memphis. I don't live in New York. I don't live in Los Angeles. I live in Mitzpeh Yericho, Israel. And look how beautiful Mitzpeh Yericho is. You see the rolling mountains, the dirt, the sand. It is so pretty here. It's amazing to live here, and I absolutely, absolutely love it. Now, let me tell you what we're going to do on today's show. Today, we have a great, great show for you. So first of all, as you know, we always have tons of chances to win raffle tickets, amazing, amazing raffle tickets. And with these raffle tickets, you could win even better prizes, such great prizes. So for today, you want to make sure you have a pen and paper to write down answers on, and then you can email them to me later. And that's how you're going to win raffle tickets. We're going to hear a story about Rebbe Akiva and a fox. Then we're going to play a game of the Hebrew word of the day. That's the first place you'll be able to win a raffle ticket. Then we're going to learn all about firefighters. It's going to be so, so cool. And then we are going to have a memory game where I'm going to tell you a couple of things. You have to remember them and then send them to me. And then we're going to have a question where you can win even more raffle tickets. It's going to be a great show. So buckle up. This is going to be a lot of fun. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the story room. Okay, we're gonna go to the story room, and we're going to hear a story about Rebbe Akiva. But in order to do that, I need to go to the story room. Can't stay here and tell you a story. It wouldn't be as much fun. So hold on, and we're gonna go there right now. Enjoy this story. Shalom. Oh, what a story I have for you today. Okay, it is the story of Rebbe Akiva and the fox. Rebbe Akiva lived 2,000 years ago in Yerushalayim. Sometimes he moved to other places in Israel, but this story takes place with Rebbe Akiva standing on a tall mountain called Har Tzofim, called Mount Scopus, and it looks over Yerushalayim. So if you stand on Har Tzofim and you're on the top of the mountain and you look down, you're going to see all Yerushalayim, especially a special mountain called Har HaBayit. In English, it's called the Temple Mount, and that's the mountain where both of the Beit Hamikdash stood. Both Beit Hamikdash stood. Rebbe Akiva was alive for the second Beit Hamikdash, but he also had to see the Beit Hamikdash be destroyed. He had to see the Beit Hamikdash destroyed when the Romans came in, because Bnei Israel weren't following the Torah. The Beit Hamikdash was destroyed. And after the Beit Hamikdash was destroyed, Rebbe Akiva and a couple of his friends who were also big Talmidei Chachamim, knew Torah so well, decided to go on a walk on Har Tzofim. And they went on a walk on the top of the mountain that looked over Yerushalayim. So as they're walking, they see the mountain, but it's flat now. There's no Beit Hamikdash. And Rebbe Akiva and his friends loved going to the Beit Hamikdash. Rebbe Akiva would teach Torah at the Beit Hamikdash. They would watch the Kohanim give korbanot to the Beit Hamikdash. And there were miracles, nisim, that happened every single day in the Beit Hamikdash. I'll tell you about one of them, okay? Just one story, one miracle of what happened there was that every day there was a fire on the Mizbeach. It was a good fire, it wasn't a bad fire, on the Mizbeach, and the smoke would go straight up. And if there was wind, and it would be blowing everything all over the place, the smoke would still go just straight up. It wouldn't go to the left or to the right. Even if there was rain, it wouldn't move. That was just one of the nisim. So whenever you went to the Beit Hamikdash, it was really, really a special time. Well, Rebbe Akiva and his friends were looking at where the Beit Hamikdash was, and they were really sad. They were really sad because they saw there was no Beit Hamikdash. And even today, when we stand on that same spot on Har Tzofim, on that mountain, you can go today and you can look. It's actually not so far from my house, and you can go look at. It's still sad. And if you haven't seen that spot where the Beit HaMikdash was for more than 30 days, you have to rip your shirt. You rip your shirt if you haven't seen it for more than 30 days because we're so sad, we rip our shirts. We cry. But Akiva looks, and they're looking at the spot, and then they see where the most special spot on Har Bayit was, when there was a Beit HaMikdash, was called the Kodesh HaKodashim. And on the Kodesh HaKodashim that stood right there, they watched as a fox, because there's a lot of foxes in Israel. I have foxes in my backyard. There were foxes running where the Kodesh HaKodashim was. The spot where only the Kohen Gadol could go. Now there were foxes, and Rebbe Akiva's friends start crying. They start crying, and Rebbe Akiva turns to them and says, "What's the matter?" And they said, "That's where the Beit HaMikdash used to be, and now foxes are running." And they look at Rebbe Akiva, and he's laughing. He's smiling. He's laughing. And so, Rebbe Akiva, how are you happy? This is such a horrible thing. And Rebbe Akiva says, "No, you don't understand. The Navi told us that the Beit Hamikdash was going to be destroyed and foxes were going to run in. But he said, don't worry, one day Mashiach will come and then they're going to rebuild the Beit Hamikdash." And Rebbe Akiva said, how did we ever know the Navi was going to be correct? I didn't know. And Beit Hamikdash was destroyed, but how do I know another Beit Hamikdash is going to be rebuilt? And he said, now that the first part of what the Navi said, that foxes are going to run in the Kodesh Kodashim, came true, now I know the second part of what the Navi said is true. The second part is true also, that there's going to be the Beit HaMikdash rebuilt. And there's going to be a third Beit HaMikdash in Yerushalayim. And I know it's going to happen. So now that I see foxes, sure, we should be sad that there are foxes in the Beit HaMikdash, but we should be happy because now we know they're going to rebuild the Beit HaMikdash one day. And hopefully you and I, all of us, are going to get to see that happen one day very soon. That's what we daven for. That's what we hope for. Okay, I hope you like this story. Let's go back to our regular show. Shalom. Okay, that was a great, great story. I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, let's get our regular background back here. Give me 1 second. Okay, and hold on. Okay, let's go here and here. Excuse me for the technical difficulties. We are now going to do the Hebrew word of the day. So what you want to do is you want to get your pen, okay, and a piece of paper, and we're going to learn the Hebrew word of the day. And here it is. You ready? It is dag. Dag means fish. You can see the fish in this picture. Dag, it's a very short word, just daled gimel. When there's a lot of fish, it's dagim, right? Dagim is a lot of fish. And so if you write down dag as the Hebrew word of the day, and then what you're going to do is you're going to email it to me to this email address right here. Okay, send this to this email. You say the Hebrew word of the day was dag. Then you win a raffle ticket, and with the raffle ticket, you could win a tremendous, great prize. Oh, such a good prize. But you have to send in to this email the Hebrew word of the day. So let's just review it one more time. The Hebrew word of the day was dag. Okay, now what we're going to do is we are going to have a great lesson about firefighters. Okay, so we have to go back to our story room because that's the best place. And we are going to learn about firefighters. You ready? Here we go. Shalom, everybody. I have a great lesson today to teach you about. You're going to really, really like this. Today, we're going to learn about special people who help all of us all around the world, here in Israel, in Memphis, Tennessee, in New York City, in Los Angeles, everywhere. They help us everywhere around the world. And they've been around for so long. They are really, really incredible people. and we are so lucky to know them. And sometimes we get to meet them when we go on trips and we do all types of like special activities. Sometimes on Thanksgiving we go visit them. Sometimes we see them in the street and they have these big red trucks. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about firefighters. Firefighters are amazing, amazing, amazing people. They're our heroes because they risk their lives just to make our lives better and to make sure that we're safe and we're secure and we're happy and that we don't have to worry. But they sometimes have to worry because they put themselves in very dangerous situations just for us. So it's very important that whenever we see a firefighter, whether they're dressed like this or whether they're just dressed like regular people, but we know they're a firefighter. Maybe they have a t-shirt that says firefighter or a hat that says firefighter, or maybe they just tell you they're a firefighter. Whenever we see them, it's important that we say, thank you so very much. Because saying thank you is a very important part of being a good Jew and a good person, is to always say thank you and be grateful to the people that do so much for us, like firefighters. And today we're going to learn at least 5 things, but probably more, about firefighters. First of all, did you know how many firefighters do you think there are just in America? What do you think? You tell me a number. What do you think? 10 firefighters? 100 firefighters? 1,000 10,000 firefighters maybe? How many firefighters do you think there are in America? Let me tell you, you ready? There are 1,115,000 firefighters. How incredible is that? How many firefighters? So many firefighters. Unbelievable. 1,115,000 firefighters in America. Now, some of them, right, and I'll tell you how many there are. There are 370,000 firefighters who their whole job is just to be a firefighter. That's what they do. Their whole day, they wait. If there's, God forbid, if there's going to be a fire, they wait to see if there's a fire. And if there is, they go fight the fire. Sometimes they have to stay up the whole night in their firehouse, and because they're on call, it's their time to be guarding to make sure. And then there are 745,000 firefighters that don't do it for a living. They don't have a job as a firefighter. They're what's called a volunteer. A volunteer is somebody who does something and doesn't get paid. It's not their job. They might have a different job or they might not have a job, but they are firefighters, and they might be like a doctor, let's say, or somebody who works in a bank or a gas station, or they might work in a school. And they have a special machine that they carry on them. It could be like their phone, like this one. It could be something else. And if there's a fire, then they get a special call that there's a fire, and they run to their cars, speed away back, very safely though, to their firehouse, and then they put on all their stuff, jump on the truck, and they have to do it only in a couple of minutes because there's a fire. So they have to hurry up because there's an emergency. Now, in my town where I grew up, the firefighters didn't have like a little machine that they wore or a phone. There were no cell phones because I'm really old. What they had was there was an alarm in the town that was on a high tower. There's a really high tower. At the top of the tower, there were big megaphones with sirens. And if there was a fire, the siren would go off, and the firefighters who were volunteers, they had regular jobs, would hear it through their windows, and then they would run to their cars, drive to the firehouse, put on their gear, jump on the truck. Now, let me ask you a question. How many calls do you think firefighters have to answer? You ready? There are over 36 million phone calls that firefighters have to hurry. Now, I want to tell you something else. You ready? Firefighters wear special clothing. See the special clothing that they have, right? That they're wearing? The special jacket, special mask, special helmet. Now, of course, they're wearing this stuff because they have to protect themselves against fires. These clothes can go into a fire and up to 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit. You know how hot that is? That is hotter than if you put 3 ovens together to bake cookies. It's still hot, maybe 6 ovens to bake cookies. It's still hotter than that. That's how hot it is. And firefighters can wear that. Now, they feel hot, but they don't feel that they're getting burnt because they're not getting burnt because this clothing protects them. So make sure that they're going to be okay. But it's really hot, but they have these special clothes. It's made out of a special material, and they have to wear them. They can't take them off. It's too dangerous. Now, a lot of times they have to also have a huge tank of oxygen on their backs so that they can breathe through their masks, because when there's a fire, you can't breathe in the air in the fire because it's full of smoke and it's too dangerous. Okay? So that's very important. Now, firefighters wear a special mask. See the mask that he's wearing? Okay. Now that mask, it even has its own flashlight so you can see. Here's something that you never know about firefighters. When they're in the fire, they cannot hear anything or see anything. There's too much smoke to see anything, and the fire is so loud, so loud that they cannot hear anything. So if somebody's stuck in a fire and the fireman has to find them, he's not like looking around or listening to hear if you see somebody. He has to go and really look really carefully and feel around to see if there's anybody there to make sure that he can save everybody. But he can't take off his mask to help him see, because then the smoke will come in and he could really get sick and hurt, and he won't be able to save anybody, and somebody's going to have to come and save him or her, right? And that's our next thing that I want to teach you about. This is something amazing. There's a woman named Molly Williams. This isn't her, either of these women, but Molly Williams was the first woman to be a firefighter. And today, there are women firefighters and men firefighters. Anybody can be a firefighter. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, you can be a firefighter, and women fight fires just like men. They run into the buildings, they have their hose, they have a saw, they have an axe to knock things down to make sure that they can get to people in the fire. And women can be firefighters, men can be firefighters. It doesn't make a difference. Everybody can be a firefighter. In order to be a firefighter, though, you have to go to school for a long time to become a firefighter, because you have to know what you're doing, because you can't just run into a building with a cup of water and try to put out a fire. It's too dangerous to do that. Okay, and the last thing we're going to learn about, here we go. You ready for this? Firefighters, first of all, they're a lot of fun. Do you know what this is a picture of? These are firefighters who people got stuck in an elevator, and the firefighters came to save them, because firefighters don't just put out fires. This is an amazing thing. You might not know this. They help out when elevators get stuck. They help out in all types of emergencies, like earthquakes. If there's an earthquake, a firefighter can help out. If there's even if there's sometimes there's somebody doing a crime, like something wrong, and they're committing a crime, so firefighters come and they can help out. If there's an accident in the highway and cars get mangled together and the metal is too tight and somebody's stuck in the car, firefighters have special tools. They can come and they rip open the car. You know what they're called? Jaws of life. This is your jaw. So it's like a jaw of life because it opens up the car. And all the firefighters have to do is put this machine on, and then they go like this. They pump it up and it rips it open. So firefighters are heroes, not just because they fight fires, which is the most dangerous thing they do for sure, but firefighters also help out people in all types of situations. That's why they get 36 million calls. So what did we learn about today? We learned all about firefighters, but we also learned about how much firefighters do for us and how we have to be so thankful to them. And we always have to say thank you. We always have to show our gratitude. And maybe you can ask your parents if you can get a cake and bring it to the firehouse so that they'll be really happy, and you can write on the cake, thank you, because firefighters really deserve our thanks. Hope you enjoyed this, because this was a lot of fun for me to teach it. Bye, guys. Okay, hope you enjoyed that. Let's go back to now our regular show. And we can go to right here. Okay, we're going to play a game now. So everybody get your pen and paper out. We are going to play a great game, okay? And it's a memory game. So what you need to do is have your pen and paper out, and you're going to send the answers to this email address right here, okay, right here. And here's what we're going to do. I'm going to tell you 5 things. You write the 5 things down, and then you send them to me. So here we go. The first one, a fox, like we had in our story. Our second, Rebbe Akiva, who was the person in our story. Third thing, fish. That was the word of the day. Remember that, fish. Next thing, firefighter, like we just learned about. And last, Beit Hamikdash. Those are the 5 things. I'll repeat them, and then you can send them here, and you get a raffle ticket. But don't worry, soon we're going to have a chance to win 2 raffle tickets. Fox, Rebbe Akiva, fish, firefighter, and Beit Hamikdash. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to have a chance to win 2 raffle tickets. All you have to do is send me an email and tell me what this week's Parsha is, and you get 2 raffle tickets. And don't forget, if you go to Shul on Shabbat, you can get the fun letter. It has jokes, it has Divrei Torah, it has interesting information and games and chances to win prizes. I hope you enjoyed today's show. That's the end of the show. Hope you loved it, and I'll see you next week. Shalom.